And it's time for The Way It Is. Ambrose Wada, who's an advocate, is with us in studio. Senator Mombasa County, also the Wiper leader, rather Secretary General, Hassan Omar. So now you're official. Secretary General official.
Totally confirmed.
Totally confirmed.
By 1,763 delegates.
Yeah.
Who form the delegates of the Wiper Party nationally.
So you came to Kisumu, you did not say hello, but you've been keeping well?
I've been keeping well. I came to Kisumu a little later than my expectations because we had something that tied me down. So I was there for the session I was supposed to be participating.
Yeah.
That was on Wednesday. And then I had to leave again on Thursday morning for the Wiper, for the Okoa Kenya referendum launch. So it's been a fairly busy week for all of us. And I believe for you too. I saw you in Kisumu. In fact, I envied as I watched your show at the Kisumu airport. I saw that you had been interviewing a couple of people, Elachi, Dr. Mutaha Kangu, on issues that I think were quite fair to the devolution debate.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad you're keeping well.
But on the weekend, I think the greatest highlight, apart from my confirmation on the 25th as the Secretary General of Wiper,
yes,
is the Kenyan winning the marathon. I think it was
extraordinary. Epic, so awesome.
And I also want to congratulate the women team. I think, in fact, the women have been doing far better in most of the marathons. It was a mishap this time around, but we were still at second place.
Yeah.
And I think that's Kenyan runners just make us proud.
Yeah, they do. They have a way of just getting us, despite all the noises and divisions we have, they bring us together. And they did a tremendously good job. Ambrose, you came well?
My weekend was very well. Yesterday was my 45th birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, I saw that on Facebook and everybody was. And then other people were telling you to talk to me. I think they're giving you birthday wishes.
Should have
some
brought
guy
you
called
cake.
A former friend, Sande Oyolo. Very petty, I think.
He
should be giving you
it was good. I think
wishes. They should know when to separate.
I had a surprise birthday action in church.
So they surprised you in church?
Oh, yes.
So did you walk into church and everybody started singing?
They sing for you and they pray for you and they bless you and you feel very great.
That's good.
And I was also happy the week was good. You were welcomed very well.
Thank you very much.
In Kisumu.
Yeah, absolutely.
The president and even you are court leader.
He did say it's 45. It had 45 yesterday.
You are court leader. You are court team.
Who turned 45? He turned 45. Yes.
Yes, and looking forward now to, as we approach up 50, I hope you'll break one wing of Wiper, somebody else. Because to liberate this country, I think we'll have to all come together in future so that we have a newer project. The future is not here.
The future is not here. Okay. Well, let's get to it. I'm glad you're well. So that
Sophia here will be in charge of very serious business in the country.
She is in charge of very serious
business. I am in charge of very serious business.
This is not private. When I say serious business, I'm looking at
this is
very high echelon. Very high. The areas you will not be...
What's high to you may not be high to me.
No. It will be for the people of Kenya.
This is for the people of Kenya.
Because this country may need people who will not have to report to EACC. To answer issues, either whether you are innocent or not. We just need people who work the way you are working and is working. No statements.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm happy to see you both. Thank you for joining us as always this morning. Let's begin with a story that is also headlining the Standard. More details on Uhuru's jinxed 4-hour flight, and a lot has been said on this one. You've all had the statement from State House talking about the heightened activity over the Yemen airspace. That is what they are saying, caused the turning back of the president's jet to return to the country. He was headed to Dubai so that he could connect to the U.S. Your thoughts on this one, Hassan Omar?
I've had this from the fraternity of former Air Force pilots, former members of the active members of pilots who in this country, and I was told that Kenya got clearance to fly over Ethiopian airspace through to Eritrean airspace. It is a well-known fact from what the pilots were telling me, including former Kenya Air Force, that you cannot fly through Ethiopian airspace into Eritrean airspace or vice versa.
Why?
Because technically these two countries
Their
are at war.
relations, yeah.
And therefore, in fact, there's not even an air route outside there. What every country does, or every airline, is to go around, either go through Djibouti or go through Sudan, and still you will avoid, or you can avoid flying through the two airspaces in a combined way. So I think it was a mark of incompetence. And that I'm told that rule has no exception, not even an exception with the own Prime Minister of Ethiopia himself, or any leader. So I think for Kenya to be so assuming that it could, and I can tell you for a fact, this, whatever the reasons or whatever the justifications that have been given, this points to an extraordinary wave of incompetence in the Jubilee administration. I think we should stop running us from one little thing to another. I think it is so clear that today, have you looked at the standard cartoon?
Yeah.
That is a manifestation of the Jubilee regime. I think it could not have been captured any better. Clowns around the president, total clowns around him. I think if the editor can show this cartoon, I think that is exactly. In fact, I said it on Saturday when I was taking when we were doing the WIPO Special National Delegates Conference. I said it very clearly that this demonstrates that the president is around jokers, a galaxy of clowns.
Yeah, and whether as you comment, this is not the first time the president is making his way to Dubai. He's used his jet before to travel there. So you'd wonder then what does it look like it's the first time, and so there was confusion over what route he should use.
It's unfortunate that some actions give fodder to the opposition. You know, like you give them fodder to just hit back. I really think, I don't know, have no information, but I suspect there was a problem. And that problem was confounded by the explanation which was given that there's a war over Yemen. Obviously, to me, that's a lie. It's an open lie, if you ask me. Somebody who cooked it does not know that the country has moved so much. The world, not just the country, the world has moved so much that when you say something, they can counter-check. Immediately I say I'm traveling from South Africa to Kenya, somebody can easily check and find that Mr. Weda was not in any aircraft. So this was sad in the sense that an aircraft left 15 minutes after the president went through Yemen and passed. So that explanation is whole, and it ridicules the president. I think there was a problem down here, and somebody should have said, we did not get this correctly, therefore it led to this, and we are very sorry.
Yeah.
If Obama himself says sorry and his people, and sometimes if I make a serious mistake, I quit. I said it was my responsibility to ensure, and I'm told that the president's itinerary, especially flying, that would be Kenya 1, although I know Senator would not want to call it Kenya 1.
It is.
It's a responsibility of the military to know which part, and they didn't do it. And somebody should take responsibility, not to come up with a lie easily disputed by Omar and his team, and then now we look very foolish. That's very bad.
But Sophia, can I add to that? You see, the reason they give these foolish explanations is because I think they know that it sells within their constituency. So, as you put it, it's a critical Kenya.
All right.
You are leading us in the 21st century.
And let's introduce David Ochieng, who's Member of Parliament to Kenya. Thank you for joining us. Pole for the traffic. Gets crazy like that this side of town. But your thoughts on this story?
There's so much of it, yeah.
Your thoughts?
Thank you so much, and happy to be here. I think what you've seen in the last few days belies a very fundamental issue in this administration. The casualness with which you've treated everything since Uhuru became president. He's been so casual in his manner and his way of doing things that even his own employees, his own people don't take him seriously. That's my opinion. And the manner in which he's gone about doing his things is why you don't see them taking him seriously, to the point that they're going to kill the president, I can tell you. Because if that's what happened, and what we're getting today is that when the plane was coming back, the fuel ran low, and there was a crisis. I mean, You've never seen seriousness, even on the face of the most brutal way, manners of terrorism in this country.
Yeah.
So everyone does his things casually. No one is reprimanded. No one is punished. And even this one, I'm very sure, will go unpunished.
Okay, we shall leave that one there and wait to see if there'll be a change in as far as the position, but definitely one that has, again, not painted the administration in good light at all. Let's talk about another big story last week, devolution conference. Your thoughts on some of the things that emerged from there, Senator?
I think the rhetoric was good. Good rhetoric. But one thing I wanted that the devolution conference also to appreciate, that devolution is not only about governors. It should have had a very heavy dose of MCAs presenting. I think what they did is just to put litany of speakers from a wide array of names that could be recognized, you know. But I think it was important to have the voices of the MCAs, not just as participants, but as panelists. But I hope that whatever was discussed will be carried in terms of influencing respective governance or governments, county governments. Because I think rhetoric is good enough. I think we all are quite good in that. I remember the professor from Nigeria. He said Kenyans are a bunch of very good English speakers, very eloquent. So you can see here as we speak, we almost mirror the English themselves and whatever else. But outside that, I think even our president is an extraordinary orator. I mean, when he speaks in the letters of English, it shows that he went to good schools. But then we can't even manage his air route. You see, that's the whole idea. So I think that kind of a situation is quite undermining. So what I hope we can put now this into focus and have and ensure that we mainstream, because governors are lethargic to good governance. That is bottom line. The accountability is not their forte. They only want to account to God in the hereafter. They want to account to no parliament. They want to account to no ESCC. Everybody is below them. Everybody can't ask them questions. And I think that is not a very good mindset, because this is what creates the paradigm that we are devolving corruption down.
And whether the deputy governors came out to say they're tired of playing flower girls, they feel like they've just been on the sidelines. They now want this bill brought to the Senate so that they can have their roles entrenched in law. But then again, they knew all along that is what it was, that they'd simply, as is articulated, deputize the governors.
I think, first of all, we cannot risk having two centers of power. We already have problems with the governors here stealing there, making noise, motorcade here, motorcade there, and the senators are breathing down their throats. I think that because most of these deputy governors chose to be flower girls at the beginning, where they made very little contribution during the campaigns, they do not have a constituency. So election is done.
But they argue they brought in votes. That is why they were chosen as deputy governors, because they were bringing in a certain constituency. Absolutely. So is it an issue of they're unable to play politics in as far as leveraging and saying, I brought this, you don't want to antagonize my base because I helped you get into office? If what
most of them are alleging is true, then the Deputy President William Ruto would also be complaining because they have the law is the same. The law governing Deputy President Ruto's position is the same as that of the governor. But Ruto brought in MPs, he brought in votes, he negotiated his way through, so that it is a question of saying we agreed on 1, 2, 3. But some of these people went to governors, they didn't put in any money, they were not known anywhere, they just went and they want to exercise. Which power? They get the offices, then you go to your governor and say, Governor, please assign me work to do. If the governor is not playing ball, then you marshal your votes. 2017 is just the next. You host the governor. But which power do they want to exercise? We cannot have two centers of power gobbling money which should go to development.
All right.
I really don't support what they're saying.
Honorable Ocheng, let's talk about devolution and the scrapping of the same that has been called upon. I think Senator Wetangula talked about it in the Senate at the conference. Scrapping of the devolution ministry.
Oh.
Yes, sorry, did I speak too fast? Senator Wetangula said that it should be scrapped a while back in the Senate. Raila Odinga, when he attended in an interview again, also saying that it should be scrapped. So do you agree with that? Or is it an issue of perhaps misunderstanding all of the functions, because there are several ministries that are collapsed into devolution. It's not just the head boy or prefect of counties as some have wanted to paint it.
Thank you so much. So first of all, I'm one of the people who believe that devolution must be given time to flourish and to grow. It's just 2 years old now, and I think most of the time we're very hard on governance and even on the structures that we set up. I think we need to give it time to grow. And two, I want to believe that the reasoning behind having the Ministry of Devolution was that initially, as we start implementing devolution, there will be areas where the national government would need to assist and to help these counties pick up.
Yes.
And this is the understanding that I have, and that if that's the reasoning, then as long as we still have those teething problems, as long as we'll have issues of coordination, there'll be some reason to have this this being there. But the Ministry of Devolution ideally is not supposed to be used by the national government to have a stranglehold on what happens in the counties. And this is where the problem is. That we have a ministry that is somewhat amorphous and that tries to throw some weight around, a weight which it doesn't have on what should happen in the counties. And this is why you hear leaders saying it is overbearing, it is trying to limit the way the counties are supposed to work. So I think we should have a limit to say that after 2-3 years, then there will be no need for this ministry after the counties start working very well. And that's why auditing the way the counties work every year would be very important, in my opinion. But up to some point, you can say that we don't need this. Let's let the counties go on. Let's leave it with the CRA. Let's leave it with the control of budget and let things move. And so that the ministry then handles these other things and probably rename it to reflect the roles that it plays that are not really devolution.
Okay. Do you think to rejig it or to scrap it?
I think we need to scrap it in this regard. There are sufficient avenues where devolution can be coordinated. There's the Council of Governors, the Theatre for Devolution in terms of the broad consultations and policy organ is the Senate. There are county assemblies that manage devolution. And then there's the summit which the president sits in, where they make all these decisions around devolution. So what happens? This is a duplication of roles and responsibility. It exposes the sense.
But the mix doesn't only cater to devolution. Then do you say rename perhaps?
Yes, exactly. Just leave the planning so that they can do the NYS thing. Because